I only went to hear the Reba McEntire cover of Bad Boys, What You Gonna Do?
Wait, is that real?
Did you block that out?
I did kind of block that out. Oh, is that what they were doing? Oh, I didn't piece that together. We are back. Welcome back. It's Popcast Deluxe. First of all, like and subscribe, youtube.com/popcast, or the QR code if you're double screening it. It's a great
Crazy thing to do.
Honestly,
You said it's a great thing to do?
It's a great thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, more screens, the better.
Yeah, no judgment.
You should literally watch Popcast Deluxe as if you're at a sports bar on a Sunday, like NFL Sunday. Like, just be like, screens everywhere.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. Okay, so our second segment has something to do with our first segment.
Yeah.
And I think
It's about recapturing lost glory.
Yeah, and I think before this morning, I thought that they would have a lot in common. But after what happened before we came to work today, before we came to the office today, before that, I was happy to do a tight 20 on Will Smith and his career. But I got radicalized at the cinema with you this morning at the 11:15 screening of Bad Boys 4, Ride or Die.
Sing us a little Reba song.
Reba.
Sing your favorite.
I'm a woman. So I'm a strong black woman.
Yeah, because she's not black.
Yes.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
That ain't no Reba song.
It's from her mixtape.
I'm going to let you burn this take off, but I do want to talk about Will Smith and his comeback.
Just talk about Will Smith. I'll save it for the end.
No, go in.
Okay, so there were 30 minutes of trailers.
Yes.
For IP movies, Marvel franchises, big horror reboots. I've never, I know I'm getting old, but like everything was so loud.
You're just actually going to complain about the volume.
No. So number one, everything was so loud. Number two, everything is blockbuster. Even the small films, even the kind of like psychological films are psychological blockbusters.
Sure.
I really felt like a Marxist film critic, like a French Marxist film critic in the 70s by the end of the trailers. I was like literally like I was naturally vomiting cahiers du cinema. Like it was just like, it was unbearable. And I don't see a lot of movies, period, but I also don't see a lot of movies in the movie theater.
Right.
Is that what going to the movie theater routinely is like? Because I'll go, look, I'm not trying to be like I'm better than going to the to the AMC Empire, but I'm more likely to go to the IFC or Film Forum or the Angelica or whatever.
Right.
So
patron of the arts.
I'm just an Upper West Side liberal trying to navigate contemporary cultural production who doesn't live on the Upper West Side. But I'm could be sold. There were like a couple of those movies where I was like, okay,
we're gonna see Trap.
We're gonna
see M. Night Shyamalan's pop music movie.
I'm gonna see it like midnight opening night. Like I'm gonna camp out.
Josh Hartnett heads.
Killer. Look, it's great. His face filled out, his hair filled out.
Oppenheimer reborn.
Killer.
Josh Hartnett.
Killer. No pun intended. So what is going on? Literally, like
the answer is yes.
I literally felt like I kept looking at you and being like, this can't be real. Is this literally what cinema is?
So here's the thing. I do think much like your ads when you're watching YouTube.
Yes, of course.
Like and subscribe. The trailers, the 30 minutes of trailers are very much geared towards the audience of the film that is about to be shown. Yes. And we were watching the fourth Bad Boys movie. The fourth one. The second since 2020.
Wait, can I just say New York Times critics pick?
Bad Boys 4?
Bad Boys 4.
I do want to point out a throwback to our previous segment. Bad Boys 3, Bad Boys for Life, came out on the exact same day, January 17th, 2020, that the last Eminem album came out, the previous Eminem album, Music to Be Murdered By.
Again, so you are suggesting that Lab Leak is not correct. It is the intersection of Bad Boys 3 and the last Eminem record that led to the COVID and the pandemic?
Just something weird was going on.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Something weird was happening.
Send it to the op-ed desk is all I'm saying.
I will say it dampened the rollout of IP films, movies we've seen before, spin-offs of movies we've seen before, sequels to movies we've seen before, remakes, etc., dampened my enthusiasm going into Bad Boys 4 because I was like, why? The answer came to me somewhere around the 3/4 mark of the movie.
Yeah.
Which is Will Smith has been promoting the hell out of Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Yes. Distractingly so.
Distractingly so, in the wake, of course, of
The slap.
the Academy Awards. Chris Rock disrespected Jada Pinkett Smith. We all know what happened. Okay. I thought that Will Smith was doing this insane Olympic level press tour, much like Tom Cruise did for Mission Impossible coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I thought he was doing this to promote the movie.
No.
It turns out he made the movie for the press tour.
Yeah, of course.
This movie, I know, it was
75 words in this movie.
It was supposed to exist before the slap, blah, blah, blah. It was halted, came back around. Funny little trivia tidbit. Questlove, when I interviewed him ahead of the Grammys Hip Hop 50 tribute, said Will Smith was supposed to make his post-slap appearance
right. I remember you mentioned
rapping as Fresh Prince as part of the Grammys celebration of hip-hop, but couldn't because they had just started shooting Bad Boys Ride or Die. Couldn't make it to the Grammys. So that's a moment we missed out on.
How many days of shooting for Will Smith and Martin Lawrence did this film require?
Like one in the car.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
one in the plane.
4? Like
yeah,
maximum
4.
5?
I don't think this movie ever would have been finished or come out if Will Smith didn't need to once again make himself a goodwill tour. And he got it, and he's aced it. In fact, he's overdone it. He's done too much. He's done too much work.
Okay, so there is look, we're a pro spoiler podcast. Like
there's nothing to spoil here.
There's I mean, they something terrible happens and they fix it.
And Martin Lawrence smacks Will Smith.
Yeah,
in the
well,
face.
that's the thing. So
a bunch of times.
Yes, and you but bad boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, like he's
they address it.
Yeah, like he's a loud dachshund or something. You know, like just like stop. So yes, it's addressed. It's actually addressed much later in the film. I read enough coverage of this film.
We were waiting for that moment.
Yeah, like
you only go to see the slap.
Yeah, and then I had to wait till like the closing sequence, basically, or just for. Anyway.
Actually, I only went to hear the Reba McEntire cover of "Bad Boys, Bad Boys, What You Gonna Do."
Wait, is that real?
Did you block that out?
I did kind of block that out. Oh, is that what they were doing? Oh.
Do you have like a quick apology text to Reba ready to go?
No, she thought it was fantastic.
You ran it by her?
Reba recorded the Bad Boys song in the scene, so she was like, she loved it.
I didn't piece that together. Reba McEntire, yes, strong woman.
Cash that check.
Yeah, good for her. So there is a slap.
Yep.
There are 3 slaps.
Yeah.
But that is actually not the signature Will Smith punishment of this particular cycle. I actually think the signature punishment of Will Smith in this cycle comes in the back half of his Hot Ones episode.
The key to winning Monopoly is the same key to winning at craps. Like, you got to understand the dice and the probability and the likelihood of the numbers that are going to come.
Okay, I have a theory about this. You finish, but my appreciation for what Will Smith has done.
You think it's a psyop?
Everything is curdling.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But like, what happens is Will Smith shows up. I think he's looking from the beginning. Frankly, I think he's looking a little tired. I've watched.
Yeah, they had him do every YouTube show except Popcast Deluxe. It's really exhausting. How many times did he do the Jay Shetty podcast, do you think, in exchange for being the cameo?
For the cameo, which doesn't even last the entire scene of the wedding. Okay. I need you to be vulnerable with second.
Okay. Red table time?
Yeah. If Will Smith was a guest on Popcast Deluxe, would you allow yourself to be charmed by him?
Oh, yeah. I've been being charmed by Will Smith since before I knew what being charmed or Will Smith was, you know?
Yeah, but like, we know better.
I think somebody of that wattage in your presence, like, you could show me the biggest Tom Cruise, Taylor Swift, Bill Clinton. Like, you know, we're talking people of that level of charisma. Like, put them in the room.
Jason Statham.
Put him in the room with Jason Statham, and it's a wrap. Like, you've seen it. You've been around enough famous people, and you've been around enough uber famous people that you know the way that they can make people drop their guards. I'm not immune to that.
I like to think we'd be a little bit better.
You think you're immune to that? Also, what do you really want out of Will Smith? That's the ultimate question.
Okay, I want to get back to Hot Ones, but there
He doesn't owe me an apology.
No, but and also like Will Smith. Yeah, no more apologies. No more apologies. That's obviously part of the press tour is he's not apologizing because no one's asking him.
He's just not talking about it.
Because literally, I'm sure his press team is like, you literally aren't allowed to ask him. The Speedy interview came out. The part about the Speedy interview that I found most striking is there's a section where he's asking what Will Smith thinks the meaning of life is.
What does Will Smith believe is the meaning of life?
Just sit here for 30 seconds.
Right now? Okay.
Now look at you while you're looking at me.
I'm trying to. It's not easy though.
Which, whatever, it's like a very Will Smithy answer. But then there's behind the scenes footage filmed by Speedy on his phone where Will Smith is like, you're asking the wrong question. It's what is Speedy's meaning of life? And he's just like going in for like 60 seconds. And I'm like, that's that guy. That's the guy. Absolutely. Hard not to fold in front of that person who's so on all the time, focused. However, I was very struck by seeing this Will Smith comeback tour, redemption tour, in light of what happened before the slap. Before the slap, if you remember, Will Smith put out an autobiography that was very vulnerable. Obviously, it's contrived vulnerability, but it's very vulnerable, pretty detailed about his upbringing and his discomfort with having to be the hero in his personal life, which made him be the hero in his professional life. That was a rather tumultuous run in the late 2010s to the early 2020s for Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, the Smith family. That was falling apart. The slap is the end of something.
It was the culmination of him being, frankly, humiliated many times over in public.
Yes. But then it's sort of low-key disappointing that his solution is, I'm going to go back and be the high wattage hero.
I'm going to go be Mike Lowry.
Yes, on camera and also, on the big screen and also on the many small screens that we're seeing. Anyway, to get back to Hot Ones has become very familiar at this point. Certainly since I wrote about it a long, long time ago, it's a rite of passage. Every famous person has done it.
It's the best late night show.
Yes, by far. But they literally should just throw whoever's on late night. Who's on CBS?
Just simulcast.
Yeah, just
that
literally.
Hot Ones.
That's true. So, Will Smith is on Hot Ones. He looks a little tired at the beginning. Looks a little, dare I say, sallow a little bit. And he says, like, right off the rip, like, I'm not really that great with this stuff.
Spicy food.
Yeah, spicy food. And he's sort of like trying his game. He's like, ooh, fermented kimchi. Like, I'm kind of into this one. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Something happens around the 6th or 7th wing. And he's talking about his tear ducts feel hot. But actually, like, you see huge puffery around his eyes. Almost comedic. And I actually wondered, like, is the fix in? Did he walk in with something?
He had some resin on the back of his hand.
Yeah, or like, is there a makeup artist? Did he go to the bathroom between 5 and 6?
Wow, we're doing full Will Smith Hot Ones conspiracies. No, but I'm with you.
Yeah. And obviously, I want to believe it's pure. And I want to believe that this is his act of penance. He's like, if you're mad at me,
Put hot sauce in my eyes.
yeah, like if you think I did a terrible thing by slapping Chris Rock, if you think I haven't had enough
Could have
punishment,
died.
Chris Rock. Yeah, and therefore Will Smith had to put his body on the line, quite literally, both in Bad Boys 4 and on Hot Ones. That's his ultimate. That is more emotionally affecting than anything that happens in Bad Boys 4, certainly.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And if you really wish to see Will Smith suffer, and actually
Who
what
is
I think
that
it's
person though?
no, of course, but also seeing that made me think, why would anybody wish to see Will Smith suffer?
He's clearly suffering enough and has suffered enough.
Yeah.
But he did a handful of these things. There's the one.
But you think it's fake?
I don't know if it's fake, but the whole thing.
Sean Evans, like Sean, just DM me.
I don't think it's fake.
DM me.
And if he smudged his eye with a little, sauce on the finger,
Yeah.
yeah, like whatever. I don't think Hot Ones was in on it. But he did the thing where he was on Sway. He was talking about how Grandmaster Caz was the inspiration for the Fresh Prince.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. Oh, who's there? But this is Ellen DeGeneres core. Oh, there's Grandmaster Caz.
Are you going to explain who
surprising
Grandmaster
him.
Caz is
No,
to the kids?
No, you get the idea. Some guy, some old guy.
First of all, he literally wrote Rapper's Delight. Come on, man. Unbelievable.
He did the thing where
You do have casual disrespect for rappers who came out before 1984.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
no, I know
Yeah,
you
I'm a
You're a middle
I'm
millennial.
a millennial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think I'm
Unbelievable.
supposed to do?
Unbelievable.
I'm the Lil Yachty of millennials.
You're like Lil Yachty's 10 times the rapper Grandmaster Caz is.
He did the thing where he showed up to the movie theater and wore a COVID mask while people were watching the movie, and then they're all walking out, and he's like, "Hey, did you enjoy that movie?" And they're like, "Oh my God, it's Will Smith." Just like the whole, even if none of the
You wouldn't have stood on
individual-
business? You wouldn't have stood on
or
business?
even like, not that good. One guy tells him it's a 10 out of 10. The New York
Crazy
Times
work.
critic.
Crazy work. Crazy work. If Will Smith was like,
Rank it out of 10.
Bad Boys 4, rank it out of 10, what would it be?
3.5.
Yeah, I would say 4. 4. But a loving 4.
At least it was under
And then I'd
2
rub hot
hours.
sauce.
Yeah, right. No, so even if none of the individual moments in this Will Smith press tour were fake, they add up to fakery. And I think the difference, all I could think about was Tom Cruise
Yeah.
throughout this. Obviously, figures, who have had parallel arcs. The difference in late period Tom Cruise and late period Will Smith, King Richard, it's been a little bit forgotten. He won the Academy Award.
Yeah.
Say what you will.
For defending his family.
Yeah.
It won that is that year's Academy Award.
But the difference between this trying so hard Will Smith and Tom Cruise tryhardism, I think they're both genuinely strange in a way that I want out of my movie stars. But I think the work, like Top Gun and the latest Mission Impossible films, just like wipe the floor with Bad Boys,
Absolutely.
Ride or Die, and it's just the movie cannot withstand the weight of everything that Will Smith needs from it.
This movie was almost 2 hours long with about 17 minutes of dialogue.
Yeah.
Really,
3 minutes of which were delivered by DJ Khaled.
actually great.
Yeah.
Really
He did good.
A good pick me up.
He was
midway
the
through it.
second best cameo after Michael Bay, the director of the original Bad Boys.
Also,
films.
why is my guy Kabi LeMay in this film? Like, what's it like? Literally.
Oh, and John, the movie ends, and John goes, "Which one was Vanessa Hudgens?"
I'm sorry, it didn't look like Vanessa Hudgens. I'm thinking first album era Vanessa Hudgens.
Right.
Forgive me.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a Disney loyalist.
Spring Breakers happened in between.
Also a loyalist to that, but this is, these are eons have passed since that. Also, okay, there is, I think, genuine rapport between the two of them, between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. A thing that I found surprising and like borderline, maybe even refreshing about the Mike Lowry character is it made me remember how intense it was to see Will Smith play kind of an ass. That's not a thing that Will Smith was doing in when his Bad Boys won
94, 95.
Yeah. That felt fresh. Obviously, like Will Smith as a rapper, as the Fresh Prince, and Will Smith as a TV figure is sanitized and squeaky clean.
He's a smart aleck, but he's not.
No, he's not
grizzled.
He's not a cad, right? He's not a sex symbol. Certainly not like prior to that. And Bad Boys is the movie where he's like, I curse. I'm out here.
And I kill people.
I kill people. I get women. I make jokes in the middle of killing people. I kill people in the middle of making jokes. I'm a cop, but like low key, I break the rules. Like that wasn't really in the Will Smith oeuvre prior to that. I actually found that return in Bad Boys 4 far more healing for the Will Smith brand than having puffed eyes on Hot Ones or sitting down and telling Speedy the meaning of life. All of that stuff, to your point, extravagant contrivances. But seeing Will Smith being like, you know what it reminds me of? Reminds me of Eminem.
Bringing this full circle.
Yeah, like it reminds me of Eminem. Will Smith being like, I know that some of y'all think that I just think unforgivable, but I'm out here. I'm back in my bad boy, figuratively and titularly era, and I'm going to curse and I'm going to say terrible things. And I'm going to do some things that are a little bit on the line of morality. And you guys are going to come and shell out X million dollars and redeem me. That to me was far more credible. It reminds me of Eminem at the end of Houdini, where he's just like, what else can I do? Like, I'm back with my middle finger. This is the guy I am. It's all I really ever wanted to be. And it's foolish for you to try to impose something else on me.
See, I wish that I felt that Will Smith could get the same satisfaction out of being that guy, that sort of like some people love me, some people hate me guy that Eminem wants to be and that the character of Mike Lowry can be in Bad Boys. Mm-hmm. But I just didn't feel like his heart was in it. And I think ultimately he wants too badly to be liked, which is what we see in the press tour version of himself. I think, if anything, he was a little bit of a non-entity in this film. Like, this was Martin Lawrence's movie. Like, I felt like he was...
Oh, that's funny.
I felt like he was a little bit of a shell, even of himself. Like, he didn't have a signature moment, even, in this movie. Like, I don't know who's to blame for that, but, like... They're all.
I mean, it's a
playing
loud,
off of,
and it's a very loud film.
Yes,
there's so much happening. To me, the signature moment, if there was one, is actually the opening scene before the credits,
where he's getting married. But when he's on their way to his wedding.
When they're on the way to the wedding, and he has to flamboyantly disarm a store, someone who's robbing a store. Yeah. That to me, I was like, okay, it's go time. And yeah, was there a little bit of a? Yeah, I curse.
He fades into the background a little though, as the movie goes on. And I feel like this was one for the fans. This was Wagwan Delilah or Houdini, maybe. But I think that he's going to have to do something even broader than this to really be Will Smith again. Something more family friendly, something more... I think people have history with Bad Boys, 4 movies deep, maybe less so. I don't know. I don't think this gets him where he wants to be.
Someday we will write a serialized franchise movie thing, and we will make a role for Will Smith to be his purest self. Agreed?
I'm in.
That's our show. Every podcast ever is at nytimes.com/popcast. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/popcast. And we will be back next week.